Brought to you by Keep the Lights On. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. We welcome you to News Tonight this Wednesday, the 27th of April, 2022. Let's start with a look at the top stories as we start. President Museveni to deploy UPDF in Mozambique if conflict persists. Government commits to support UBC for international standards output. Attorney General assures Parliament the coffee deal is in favor of value addition. While government to start vaccination of high school children in term 2.
We're here to build because at the end of the day, we're truly Ugandan.
It's News Tonight. My name is Micheal. Lukomwa, Elizabeth Nakakoni joins in for sign language. In our first story tonight, President Museveni says he is willing to deploy UPDF in Mozambique if the insecurity there persists. Museveni, who confirmed that he is already offering logistical support towards fighting terrorism in Mozambique, made the remarks during a 3-day state visit of the Mozambican President Filipe Jacinta Nyusi. The two presidents also agreed to work together on issues of wildlife conservation and protection and agriculture. Philip Aguta, our reporter, has the details.
Mozambican President Filipe Jacinta arrived at the State House in Entebbe at about midday after a safe landing at Entebbe International Airport. He was received by his host, President Museveni, and treated to ceremonial honors, including 21-gun salute. During a joint media briefing, President Museveni says he will be ready to deploy UPDF in Mozambique if the insecurity there continues.
Because we are busy with Somalia, where we have got 6,000 soldiers, and we are now in Congo, where we have got 4,000 soldiers now. What we decided to do for now was to send materials. This is what His Excellency was talking about. I'm told the problem is being solved, but if it is not solved for some reason, and we have quietened the issue in Congo, which we don't want to stay there forever, then we shall have to deploy a big force there, not a small force. We shall have to, like we have deployed in Congo, a big force which can make an impact, not just to go there to appear. So materials for now, but manpower if necessary.
If this happens, Uganda will be the 6th country to deploy in Mozambique to fight armed groups there. Others include the neighboring Rwanda, Botswana, South Africa, Lesotho, and Angola. Mozambican President Filipe Jacinda commended his counterpart Museveni for his logistical support towards ending armed conflicts in his country.
Dizer se Moçambique aceita ou não, Uganda já está a apoiar Moçambique logisticamente e de forma muito profunda, e nós viemos aqui, uma das questões que vim fazer é vir agradecer.
Your question was whether Uganda was willing. Uganda is already supporting Mozambique in a very profound manner, logistically, and what we've come to Uganda to say is to express our gratitude to our sisters and brothers from Uganda for this support.
It should be noted that the ties between Uganda, particularly NRM, and Mozambique started way back in 1976, when Mozambique offered to train the Museveni's NRA soldiers before they came back to launch an offensive against Obote government. Museveni says those veterans they left there will fully be supported.
And when we got there, we found our people there, the ones who were supporting us, the drivers, they were there.
E quando lá chegamos, encontramos ainda as pessoas que nos apoiaram nessa altura. Os motoristas e outros estavam ainda residentes lá.
The very same people.
As mesmas pessoas.
So I had an idea which I proposed to His Excellency.
Portanto, tive uma ideia da qual eu propus à Sua Excelência o Presidente.
Which was, why don't we start a wealth creation association?
During the 3-day state visit, the Mozambican president is expected, among others, to visit Luwero Industrial Park and Presidential Demonstration Farm at Kaumu. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Entebbe.
Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Robin Nabbanja, has met the Swedish ambassador to Uganda, Her Excellency Maria Håkansson, who called on her at the Prime Minister's office in Kampala. We have these as well.
The Prime Minister, while meeting the ambassador, lauded the Swedish government for the partnership, especially in the sectors of health, environment, and refugees. Nabbanja says the bilateral relations between Uganda and Sweden are historical.
We want to thank you for the support, like I did the other time, you have given our country. 1, hosting our refugees in your country. 2, supporting our refugees while they are here from other neighboring countries and many other people globally. You know, Uganda is one of those countries that have the most conducive environment when it comes to supporting refugees. I want to thank you for supporting the health sector, maternal health. I have been in the Ministry of Health. I know your contributions to that sector. Education, the scholarships. I'm aware, I've been reading about Sweden and how you have supported our people. The areas of environment, the support you have given us to, regain and educate and sensitize our people to have our environment. And lastly, the cordial relationship we have.
The Swedish ambassador to Uganda, Her Excellency Maria Håkansson, thanked the government of Uganda for its open door policy towards refugees and the hospitality exhibited to mankind. The ambassador briefed the Prime Minister on the upcoming Stockholm World Conference anchored in the Decade of Action, which will be organized under the theme Stockholm Plus 50, a healthy planet for the prosperity of all, our responsibility, our opportunity.
There is need for accelerated implementation of a lot of different commitments. We have the idea with the meeting in Stockholm would be to sort of find synergies between different processes ongoing, such as the implementation of the United Nations Decade of Actions on the Sustainable Development Goals, but also, of course, the Paris Agreement and the biodiversity COP that is coming as well, but also to link it to the recovery after the COVID pandemic and make sure that we all build back.
Doreen Nasasira reporting for UBC News.
Government is to raise standards of the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, that is UBC, to improved international levels. This is to be done through improved funding to the corporation for better performance. This was disclosed by the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, at an engagement with the management and board of the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation at the ministry's headquarters in Kampala.
The political and technical leadership of the Ministry of ICT has engaged with the Board of Directors and senior management of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation to discuss issues pertaining the corporation. The meeting was chaired by the Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, who appreciated the enhancement services offered by the corporation.
As a ministry, we do appreciate the tremendous and great work that they continue to do to lift UBC from the level where it has been, and the viewership for the TV and the listenership for the radio continues to grow steadily as UBC responds to the interests of Ugandans.
In the presentation shared, the Chairman, Board of Directors, UBC, James Tumusime, decried the corporation challenges that affect its progress.
And these challenges, we thought we should share them with the Minister regarding financial, legal, and technical issues. We have presented them to the Minister, and he has accepted to share them with his colleagues in the Cabinet and share them with the President. And we hope that when they have analyzed them, we should be able to get a positive response and perform even better than we have been performing.
Minister Baryomunsi said, for better improved services, government through the ICT ministry has committed to extend more financial support to the corporation for improved service delivery.
That we are going to upgrade UBC to international standards. We have the support of the President, we have the support of government, and what has been a challenge is the inadequate funding that the government has been extending to UBC, but through the national budget, we are going to put more resources to UBC so that UBC can acquire new and modern equipment. UBC can continue to train its human resource and attract more and additional competent and high quality human resource. We are going to ensure that we have the state-of-the-art and modern equipment so that we remain the #1 station in Uganda.
Baryomunsi informed the meeting the decision by Cabinet to accelerate the corporation to digital transformation for the country to access its services throughout the country.
To expand the digital space, and this digitization agenda also includes UBC. We are yet to conclude this migration process so that UBC can be picked from all corners of the country through a free-to-air mode of reception of UBC, because in some parts of the country today, you need third-party actors like DSTV, StarTimes, and all these other players for you to access UBC. We are now going into a phase where you only require a small decoder and a dish, a decoder and a dish for free-to-air, and then you should be able to pick the signal in your home.
Uganda Broadcasting Corporation is a national broadcaster that is financially supported by the government. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
Godfrey Baluku Kabyanga, State Minister for ICT The State Minister for ICT and National Guidance has launched the Guidelines on Access to Information and Elections booklet published by the Africa Freedom of Information Centre. Basing on Article 9 of the African Charter on Human Rights, the booklet stipulates various principles that guide access to information, especially during election period in the signatory countries of the centre.
Civil society has cited the lack of timely and reliable information being one of the major causes of political unrest during election periods.
So beyond even suffering from access to information, I'd like to invite all of us to start thinking about what are we going to do with the elephant of disinformation and misinformation.
This is what happens when there is an information gap. Maximum disclosure of information, as the principles are saying here, is very critical.
The launch of this manual brought together both government and civil society stakeholders that oversee human rights compliance, communications, and governance.
Because before, what was happening, you'd find broadcasting is in another compartment, UCC is in another compartment, NITAU is in another compartment, Media Center is in another compartment. All these entities running differently. And all this would affect access to information.
In his speech, the ICT State Minister compelled all human rights civil society organizations to tone down the negative energy when advocating for change, citing it as a major hindrance to finding common ground.
I have airtime on UBC every Thursday from 8:30 to around 9:30. 1 hour, and I call it National Guidance Moment. Please come. I'll give you 1 hour. You talk about these guidelines, you disseminate them so that our people can be equipped. All these complaints which you are talking about is that our people are not well equipped.
The manual proposes 9 various principles that shall guide over 46 civil society organizations in 24 African countries in advocating for the right of access to information, some of which include the principle of maximum disclosure, the principle of obligation to publish, and the principle of promoting open government, among others. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News in Kampala.
The Attorney General, Chidio Wachiwanuka, has told Parliament that the coffee agreement with the Uganda Vinci Coffee Company is in favor of value addition and needs support from all stakeholders. This follows an engagement of the Attorney General and a team from the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, led by Minister Matia Kasaija, with the Parliamentary Committee on Trade and Industry. However, Parliament noted that a feasibility study was not done following the Finance Ministry's denial of having had access to the report from the Vinci Company.
The recent controversial coffee deal between government and Uganda Vinci Coffee Company has gained momentum in the game of hide and seek, as the stakeholders have yet remained divided over the benefits of the project.
This contract has been amended 3 times. It can still be amended.
By putting the best face on the agreement, the Attorney General, Chirio Wachiwanuka, defends his position on the agreement, saying the complainants can make use of the court system in Uganda.
Can you confirm to this committee that as the Attorney General of Uganda, under Article 119 of the Constitution, you confirm that with the due diligence you carried out this agreement is favorable for the nation of Uganda and citizens of Uganda under Vinci?
I confirm to this committee and the members of Parliament and the whole of the country that I carried out a legal due diligence on this contract, and I am convinced it's in compliance with the provision of the Constitution and any of the laws of the Republic of Uganda. I confirm, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
The members of Parliament sitting on the Committee on Trade and Industry, chaired by Mwine Mpaka, queried the team led by the Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, accompanied by the Office of the Attorney General, on the relevance of the coffee deal with the Italian investor Enrica Pinetti.
Does Vinci have any experience in coffee? No, it's not no. It is yes, because you cannot venture into a product or a project which you have no idea about.
I'd like to confirm to this committee that this contract was made on the policy of value addition which is a policy that was reduced into the National Coffee Act.
Clause 3.2 of the controversial coffee agreement reveals that both parties, including government and the investor, participated in the feasibility study prior. However, the team from the Ministry of Finance denied taking part. At this point, the MPs boiled up and Minister Kasaija raised his tone.
You signed to this agreement that the company we're talking of had already had the feasibility study.
Don't you think it is time for you to go home, Ria?
Can I ask you a question? Honorable Kasai. No, can I ask you a question? Honorable Kasai. Send me where?
Honorable Kasai.
Send me where?
Honorable Kasai. Can we...
Addressing concerns that some parties were not consulted before the done deal, the Attorney General told the legislators that government accessed Uganda Coffee Development Authority and all stakeholders were represented. Despite the already used up funds amounting to 7 billion to develop the proposed Namamve coffee processing site, Minister Kasaija reveals that government of Uganda will not inject in any funds to the project. This also sidelines the impact of the tax exemptions which are in favor of the investor. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayewa, has given the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development an ultimatum to present a comprehensive report on the resettlement plan of street dwellers before driving them off the streets of Kampala. This follows a concern presented by Napak woman Member of Parliament Faith Nakut over the manner of eviction of the street dwellers, mainly from Karamoja.
But it is meant to accommodate only 60 children. Now we have 161 there. Koblin is bursting.
Last week, Kampala Capital City Authority evicted several street dwellers, both children and adults, from Kampala streets. The street dwellers that were taken off the streets and resettled to Kobwin Government Rehabilitation Centre in Napak District were mainly those of Karamojong origin. In the matter of national importance presented to the House, Napak District Woman Member of Parliament Faith Nakut informed the House that the condition of street dwellers who were resettled in Kobwin is worrying. She also protested the manner in which KCCA handled the eviction of street dwellers, mainly children.
The manner in which KCCA handled the children, they were manhandled as though they were criminals.
However, the State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Sarah Mateke, informed the Parliament that the Ministry of Gender has capacity to handle all numbers of street dwellers who were resettled in Kobwin Rehabilitation Centre. Mateke also clarified that the number of dwellers who were taken to Kobwin, among others, included both adults and children, and is still manageable by the Rehabilitation Centre.
But they took there 161, and they were not only children, but there were some adults. I want to inform this House that it is not true that we do not have food. The food is available.
Members expressed concern on why the ministry chose to resettle street dwellers to a place they ran away from, which is also apparently insecure.
There is apparently war in Karamoja, and you do not study the conditions and the reasons why these children left Karamoja.
Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Tayewa has tasked the Ministry of Gender to first present a comprehensive report on the resettlement plan before evicting these street dwellers, and also give guarantee of their safety at Kobwin.
Kobwin is where the warriors are even abducting children. It's not protected. It's one of the areas there. So taking children to Kobwin, you're taking them to more trouble.
Kobwin Rehabilitation Centre in Napak is a government facility where street dwellers mainly attached to Karamoja region are rehabilitated and skilled. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
Government is set to start the vaccination of children from 5 years and above and secondary school students against COVID-19. Minister for Health, Dr. Jen Ruth Acheng, announced the development that starts at the opening of second term, targeting 16 million children from 5 to 17 years of age.
The war against COVID-19 pandemic still continues, with new strategies to ensure that more people get vaccinated. Ministry of Health is now moving to vaccinate secondary school-going children using the Pfizer vaccine. The school-based vaccination exercise kicks off at the beginning of second term.
The Pfizer vaccine, approved for use in children, will be deployed to vaccinate the age group of 5 to 17 years. Pfizer is a 2-dose vaccine administered 4 weeks apart.
Meanwhile, government has relaxed guidelines for both incoming and outgoing travelers at Entebbe International Airport.
Requirement for COVID-19 for negative PCR test done within 72 hours pre-boarding for all incoming travelers is suspended with immediate effect for those who are fully vaccinated.
So far, the country has received 44,734,30 different doses of COVID-19 vaccines. 15,268,403 have got their first dose of the vaccine, representing 71% of the targeted population of 22 million, and 10,250,742 are fully vaccinated, representing 48%. Although Uganda has registered a massive drop in COVID-19 active cases with a positivity of less than 2%, the COVID-19 pandemic still remains a public health concern, and people are encouraged to continue embracing vaccination.
The recent triumph by Padel District in the National School Athletics competitions has resurrected debate on nodding disease. The Member of Parliament for Aru County, Christopher Komakech, says that the students could be performing better if well catered for. He raised this on the floor of Parliament, to which State Minister for Sports Hamson Obwa affirmed government commitment towards promotion of talent across the country.
The war against COVID-19 pandemic still continues, with new strategies to ensure that more people get vaccinated. Ministry of Health is now
participating in the athletics championships. Little-known Padel District emerged victorious despite her social challenges. It is a victory which could even be registered more if the nodding syndrome was completely gotten rid of. This matter of national concern was raised on the floor of Parliament by Aru County Member of Parliament, Christopher Komakech.
We do not have any professional in the psychiatric field managing these children.
Komakech is both happy and disappointed. Happy because the Padel District athletes triumphed, but disappointed because the area is still socially and economically challenged.
600 children in Padel District suffer from nodding syndrome. Padel has stood tall and gone ahead to win the national championship in athletics.
His fears have, however, been allayed by State Minister for Sports, Hamson Obwa. He says funds are available to promote talents across schools in the country.
Each administrative unit, local government, municipality and city receives an annual allocation of 10 million shillings earmarked for capacity building and 30 million shillings earmarked for facilitation of schools in sports and co-curricular activities at regional and national levels.
We haven't seen this money. If it's coming, we welcome it. We welcome even peanuts, because we have never had it.
His concerns come over 3 years since Parliament passed the mental health law, whose implementation the House has demanded an explanation.
Because that act provided for provision of such services at the lower local government.
Nodding syndrome is an ailment that has over the years mostly affected children from northern Uganda below the age of 16. Henry Okrut, UBC.
With Henry Okrut's story, we take a very short break. Do not miss what we have on return. It's UBC News Tonight.
Pay for your dream phone, Mpola. Get your dream phone today for as low as 1,400 Uganda shillings with free data for a year and pay slowly. All phones come with daily 50 MBs for 12 months. Repayment period is 1 year. Available at MTN service centers and M-Kopa shops.
Football packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Even with my grandson, a doctor at my side, I struggled to get the help I needed. But he saw something that day. He began to work day and night. He wouldn't quit, even when people said no. He wouldn't stop fighting. He knew something had to change, and his vision was bigger than anyone could imagine. He made it possible to receive quality medical services anywhere in Uganda by simply using a phone.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Total Energies has undertaken a number of initiatives aimed at ensuring that Ugandan entities and citizens are adequately equipped to participate in the oil and gas sector. Some of these initiatives include training of heavy goods vehicle drivers.
Total Energies contracted Safer Right Way to develop skills for the drivers from Albertine region. They are accommodated free meals, free transport from here to Kampala. Everything is catered for by Total. We do train ladies as well. And as I talk right now, we have got another team of about 15 ladies in Kampala.
People are getting crashes on the way because they don't know what to do. I've got a lot of skills. I know how we should protect one another, the safety of the other road users, which wasn't the case before. And I never expected to really sit in such a truck and drive it. I'm happy and humbled to be part of this group.
Total Energies EP Uganda is committed to the empowerment of Ugandans to take an active part in the overall development of the oil project in Uganda.
Choose our with Airtel Money Quick Loans. Get a top-up loan when you have insufficient funds to buy airtime, pay utility bills, or make payments at a local supermarket. Complete your transaction and pay later. Dial *185*7*10# to opt in. Get an Airtel Money Quick Loan and pay later. Choose our with Airtel Money Quick Loans in partnership with Housing Finance Bank and powered by Yabex. Airtel, the smartphone network.
UBC News Tonight. Welcome back from the break and thank you so much for keeping it with us. Vice President Major Retired Jessica Alupo, who is also the woman member of parliament for Katakwi, has asked internal auditors in Uganda to intensify the fight against corruption in the country, saying that government recognizes the importance of internal auditing function and profession in contributing to the effectiveness and effective use of resources, reduction of corruption, fraud, and improvement of the ethical environment. She made the remarks while presiding over the 16th Annual National Internal Auditors Conference organized by the Institute of Internal Auditors at Speak Resort Munyonyo in Kampala.
Her Excellency, the Vice President of Uganda,
the three-day conference, which has brought together hundreds of internal auditors, both present and online, was organized under the theme, Rethinking Organizational Sustainability, Rising Up to the Challenge. Vice President Jessica Alupo said internal auditors have the power to check the different vices impacting accountability, transparency, and corruption as dictated by their profession.
The biggest question is here is for all of us to find out where is the corruption, who starts it, and how is it started, so that we cure it in all angles, in a wider spectrum. We don't look at it as individuals, but we look at it as something that is on a basis which is a bit broader, a basis which is broader. So I want to thank all of you because you have mentioned that the minister here mentioned it, the president mentioned it, all people who are sitting, and I've also mentioned it in my message. So let's stand to be counted, to be steadfast in what we are speaking, us being reflected in our actions when we go back to our respective offices.
She said corruption has remained a challenge to national development, robbing nations and citizens of their hopes and dreams. The Vice President was optimistic that by joining forces with internal auditors, government can eliminate corruption in the country and ultimately improve service delivery to all Ugandans. While representing the Minister of Finance, Matiya Kasaija, at the opening ceremony of the conference, State Minister for Investment and Privatization, Evelyn Anite Kajik, also decried the obvious corruption that has continued to eat up our country.
Internal auditors are our eye as the executive. That the Auditor General is the eye for Parliament. The internal auditor's function plays a very important role in the promotion of governance, accountability, and transparency and fight against corruption.
The president of the Institute of Internal Auditors Uganda, Hussein Isingoma, noted that auditors are aware that the NRM government is committed to improving service delivery by tackling corruption.
Your Excellency, the Institute of Internal Auditors came into existence 20 years ago. We are honored to be celebrating 20 years of our existence this year. IIA Uganda is part of a global network of over 190 affiliates in different countries with over 200 membership across the globe, Your Excellency. We have progressively grown our membership from 33 members in 2002 to 786 members to date. This is not a mean achievement, Your Excellency. We cannot underestimate your commitment, Your Excellency, for the continued government recognition of the role of internal auditors.
Etole Ed Akenjo, UBC News.
With the aim to decongest prisons, Uganda Law Society, together with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, has launched an 11-month project that will be implemented in selected 5 districts of the country. The 5 districts will include Mbale, Mbarara, Jinja, Gulu, Arua and Soroti. And this targets to handle at least 300 cases per district by providing pro bono services, minor cases and plea bargaining, among others. Officiating at the launch, Justice Musa Sekana expressed optimism, saying that the project is long overdue.
Uganda is ranked as the second country with the most congested prisons in East Africa, with now 68,793, up from the acceptable 9,000 inmates. Following the outbreak of COVID-19, the congestion was reportedly worsened since trials were suspended. It is against this backdrop that Uganda Law Society has launched an 11-month project aimed at handling minor cases, enhancing justice through plea bargaining and pro bono services.
I hereby launch a prison decongestion and access to justice project. We hope that it will achieve.
With regard to the project, we are going to go into those 5 different districts and work with the prison officers as well as the judiciary to try and have sessions where we can hear minor crime and deal with them in terms of either plea bargain or filing cases and allow the cases to take and follow their suit so that they can be heard in courts of law.
The project, which is funded by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, will be implemented in the 5 districts of Jinja, Gulu, Arua, Mbale, Soroti and Mbarara, and it will cost 200 million shillings.
But one of the bigger risks that we see in Uganda is that you have so many people in pre-trial detention who are on remand before coming to trial for years. That creates the risk of someone going into jail for a petty offence and coming out having been radicalised. It's incredibly important because it keeps the prison safer, keeps the prison officers and their staff and their families safer, but most importantly, it keeps prisoners safer.
While officiating at the launch, Justice Musa Sekana expressed optimism, saying the project is long overdue.
I think this is so welcome, and we believe it will help so much in the problem at hand as the
Government is set to start the vaccination of children from 5 years and above and secondary school students against COVID-19. The Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, announced the development that starts at the opening of second term.
The war against COVID-19 pandemic still continues with new strategies to ensure that more people get vaccinated. Ministry of Health is now moving to vaccinate secondary school-going children using the Pfizer vaccine. The school-based vaccination exercise kicks off at the beginning of second term.
The Pfizer vaccine, approved for use in children, will be deployed to vaccinate the age group of 5 to 17 years. Pfizer is a 2-dose vaccine administered 4 weeks apart.
Meanwhile, government has relaxed guidelines for both incoming and outgoing travelers at Entebbe International Airport.
Requirement for for negative PCR test done within 72 hours pre-boarding for all incoming travelers is suspended with immediate effect.
Government is in the process of introduction of an occupational safety and health management information system to enhance occupational safety and health standards. This has been disclosed by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development at a media engagement in Kampala.
Be joining the rest of the world to mark the World Safety and Health at Work Day on the 28th of April. The commemoration will take place at Wuma Showgrounds, Lugogo.
Which will be marked tomorrow, 28th of April 2022 at Wuma Grounds in Lugogo. That's where we plan to mark this day.
The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development is developing an occupational safety and management information system to boost the occupational safety and health service delivery at workplaces. The initiative seeks to address numerous challenges faced by the workers.
It will be rolled out for users across the country, meaning that the 4 functions that we have earmarked it for, and I named them. One is registration of workplaces. By law, every workplace is supposed to be registered with the Department of Occupational Safety and Health. 2 is inspection of workplaces. 3 is approval of plans for construction and engineering works.
The Muslim community at Masjid Dinia Kabawa Ndeba in Kampala is under pressure to collect over 250 million shillings to rescue their masjid pending demolition by Movit Company. This follows the sale of the Said Mosque to the company by the children of the late Haji Dinia. The Muslim community claims that the property was donated to them by the late in 1950.
1980s. However, However, some children of the late Haji Dinia sold the land to Movit Company, causing panic among the faithfuls for fear of the worst should the investor choose to utilize his land. Discussions to rescue the mosque yielded fruits when Movit Company settled with 500 million as the price tag to abandon the property. However, only 250 million shillings has been raised and the clock is ticking away. They therefore requested President Yoweri Museveni, the Muslim fraternity in the country, among other well-wishers, to support the Muslims pay the balance of 250 million shillings to bring back the house of Allah for the betterment of the faith.
Our beloved President, we have raised to you, we are calling upon you to assist us in this noble cause. That's why we wrote this document to him, showing him what is happening here and how he can help. We are very willing, we are still pushing on, but when we wish the President and he comes in, his long arm can help us in many ways. The President himself can also help. The President can get bigger people, who can support this project. And then the mosque we come to bring back our land, and then we develop for the Muslim community. There is a school, there is a mosque. Also, what to note here,
the chairman of the executive committee of the Masjid Dinia, Haji Haruna Luchamuzi, revealed that the mosque is historical in the area and commended the late Haji Dinia for loving his faith and supporting the underprivileged, especially in the 1979 war, and appealed to the Muslim fraternity to emulate him. Our efforts to talk to Movit were futile as the known telephone numbers were not available. I'm Nafka Farida and Salongo Kasbanta.
The NRM Secretariat has contributed 5 million shillings towards the construction of a health centre by St. Luke Church of Uganda, Nkumba. This follows an increase of complicated cases in the communities that cannot easily be handled by the health centre tools in the area.
Over 100 million shillings is needed for the construction of Health Centre 4 by St. Luke Church in Nkumba to cater for complicated diseases and also reduce on the number of patients flocking government hospitals with minor health cases. This has prompted St. Luke Church to hold a fundraising drive for the construction of the hospital. To this effect, the NRM Secretariat has contributed 5 million shillings towards the construction of the health centre.
It's an opportunity, first of all, to appreciate the church, Nkumba Parish Church, for the work well done in as far as coming up with an initiative of constructing a health centre for this community. We do appreciate the fact that it's a responsibility of government to have health facilities in our areas, schools and so on. But we know there are policies that are followed by the government. For instance, we know very well that we have to have at least a parish in every parish we have to have a primary school. In every sub-county we must have a secondary school. The same applies to health centers. It may not be that in every village we must have a health center, but at least at a parish level or a sub-county level. So in this particular area, because the population is high, and the health center may be a bit far from where this village is. That is why I think the church has come up with this initiative to have a health center constructed. So,
Seninde urges the community to embrace the health center project and thanked the church for the initiative.
Because the government of Uganda, the NRM government, wants its people to be well, that is why we've come up as NRM Secretariat to bring a brick to add to this construction. We've come with 5 million shillings to be able to support the work that is being put in place. So I'm calling upon the community members to also contribute to the construction of this place, because good enough, it is not going to help only the NRM people. It is going to help all people of different affiliations, political affiliations. So we must give support to this. It is a very good initiative. It is not for only NRM, not INOP, not UBC, but it is for the people of this area. So we want to thank the church for the work well done and for mobilizing us to come and be in position to give a hand.
Relatedly, Director Mobilization thanked residents of Nkumba and neighboring communities for supporting President Yoweri Museveni. Seninde said communities must now focus on embracing government programs to improve their welfare. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Professor Maggie Chigozi states, the time is now for all of us to get vaccinated.
When we have one person who's not vaccinated, it affects everybody around them, most especially the ones close to you. Keep your family safe. Anyone right now who's over 18 should go and get vaccinated.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves. High-flying saves. Unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
Need to send money to a loved one but you don't have enough on your phone? Have you run out of fuel but you don't have enough money? Do you want to pay for yaka or water but have insufficient funds? Or do you want to shop but you don't have enough money? Don't worry, get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
UBC News Tonight. Uganda Wildlife Authority has called upon the government to formulate serious guidelines and standards for development adjacent to protected areas for the both safety of animals and humans. This comes barely a week after 3 lions were found dead over suspected electrocution in Changabukama village, Rubirizi district.
Uganda Wildlife Authority continues with investigations into the death of the 3 lions that were found dead on an electric fence at Igirungu Hotel, Kigambu village in Rubirizi district. The spokesperson of Uganda Wildlife Authority, Bashir Hanji, notes that they are going to have several engagements with the owner of Irungu Safari Lodge to forge a way forward.
We therefore need to engage the park owner. We know the issue could be safety with the facility, safety of the visitors, but also we want to ensure the safety of the attractions, and that's the wildlife. So, is there another way we can have the safety of the facility and the visitors guaranteed without necessarily having to use an electric fence? There are so many lodges, okay? And not all of them have electric fences.
Hanji notes that the country, the economy and the tourism industry has lost immensely due to the endless loss of wildlife, especially the lions in protected areas. Uganda Wildlife Authority is calling upon the government to expedite guidelines, regulations and standards for developments adjacent to protected areas.
What are the standards that should be followed? If you are putting up a facility just next to a protected area where you know we have wildlife moving around, do you need to have an electric fence? For example, do you need to have a fire line? You know, so a number of things. We need to look at some of the things, and the government comes up with the standards and guidelines.
UA notes that over the years they have secured a number of convictions regarding wildlife crimes, and last financial year, UA recorded over 478 cases and secured convictions of about 380.
The COVID-19 pandemic era saw many companies adopting digital technologies to keep afloat and survive. However, this survival strategy has ushered in a new way of life that requires technological adaptation for entrepreneurs.
Digitization is key for the future of entrepreneurship in Uganda due to the efficiencies it provides in doing business. In the last 2 years, the world has experienced rapid adoption of digital technologies in order to deal with the COVID-19 disruptions.
If you want to be an entrepreneur, use technology to be able to survive. If you want to work for a company, make sure that you have skills in technology that will help you make yourself relevant to the new place.
What seemed to be a short-term survival strategy for many businesses is now a way of life. Today, the huge number of tech startups by youth entrepreneurs is good news for a country grappling with high rates of unemployment. However, starting a business and ensuring its profitability and resilience are two different things.
When you're running a business, it's got to make sense. You're providing value to people, and you should also be receiving value. It should give you the ability to meet the basic needs in life and, splurge once in a while, right? It's got to make sense.
Currently, again, we're partnering with NSSF, MasterCard Foundation, the Private Sector Foundation, and Startup Uganda to make sure that we have a Startup Act in the country to enable startups that are beginning to be protected to see these ideas come to life.
The 3-day NSSF Career Expo on the theme Technopreneurship, the Future of Work, seeks to equip the youth with employability skills in an increasingly tech-savvy society.
Embrace innovation, because if you're to survive in the next or in the competitive landscape that we live in, it is all going to be about digitalization and technology.
If you have to look at your financial position, you should say, I should own more than I owe. The assets, the cash, the stocks, the content that you have should be more than the money you owe the bank or you borrowed from a family, from a circle, and things like that.
It is not subject to debate that Dubai is one of the largest export markets. One of Uganda's largest export markets, I beg your pardon. The Dubai Department of Tourism has partnered with travel agents in Uganda to promote Dubai as a tourism destination. The move is to see a range of tourism and forex exchange between the two countries. The Dubai Department of Economy and Tourism were in Uganda meeting travel agents under the umbrella body, the Uganda Association of Travel Agents. The 70 listed travel agents in Uganda were trained on boosting their businesses and benefits of Dubai travels.
Industry here in Uganda, a lot of work with the individual travel agencies, and a lot of work with Tugata as one of our key partners, as well as Travelport. For Dubai tourism, what do we train travel agents on? We teach them about everything that Dubai has to offer. We talk to them about the safety in Dubai, the security, the ease of getting a visa. It takes 2 to 3 business days to get a visa to go to Dubai. We talk to them about the wonderful hotels that Dubai has to offer, about all the iconic landmarks and the things that there are to do. There are over 100 attractions in Dubai and growing. And we share this knowledge with the travel agents because it helps them better package travel for Ugandans to go to Dubai.
Dubai has a lot to offer by way, of course, it's a new city, glitzy. They had the Expo 2020, whereby a lot of things were showcased. So that is one aspect of the business. We want to encourage Ugandans to also try and market Uganda to the traveling Dubai public, both the residents. Dubai has a population of 80% expatriates who would like to go to a country that is nearby for short breaks, maybe 1 week or maybe 4 days. And because of the air connectivity, there are actually 3 airlines that fly into and out of Dubai.
Banking services in Uganda have been tasked to shift from opening banking agencies to providing more services technology-wise. While officiating the Micro Saving Maximum Impact Conference in Kampala, the Deputy Governor, Bank of Uganda, Micheal Ego, said that Bank of Uganda has developed a strategy for repayments and financial inclusion.
With 30% of the poor and 37% of the middle-income earners, it's against this backdrop that the Deputy Governor, Bank of Uganda, Micheal Ego, urges more banking services should shift from focusing on opening more banking agencies to providing more services and adopt technology.
We're encouraging very many providers, particularly the fintechs, things like the mobile monies, the telecoms and other fintechs, to offer digital financial products like savings and credit extension. More lenders to support more people in the economy than just restricting credit reference to only what commercial banks are doing. Bring in other players who have your credit record so that we can share that information to see how borrowing can be.
To create digitally and financially savvy people, and we want to provide the business skills so that loans are less risky that are being provided to these people.
Micheal asked all bank services who have developed new products technology-wise to follow procedures for them to be certified to move the country digital.
We are encouraging all innovators who have solutions that they think can address the various needs of the segment of the society to come and test these applications in a controlled environment to see whether they really meet the regulatory standards, and then after that they can roll them out. In that way, we believe that we are able to reach the various needs, the various segments of society in as far as the financial needs are concerned.
Banks should be accommodative and find a solution to the country's market as Africans.
As a country, we are different. There are some untapped sectors like fishing. The charges are too high. So it comes back to, can we look at products for our people and tailor-make them to suit the needs of our people?
Meanwhile, Bank of Uganda has embarked on reducing on deposit rates and asked money lenders to support more people without sensitive collateral credit solutions as security purposes, but rather regulate them to be able to promote financial inclusion. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
Yes, in the world of sport, Budo Senior Secondary School has beaten Kawempe Muslim courtesy of an innocent Ronald lone goal to secure progression to the semi-finals of the Uganda Senior Secondary School Sports Association National Boys Football Championship in Arua City. The two-time champions will in the semi-finals play St. Andrews that ejected Ginger Aces. The other semi-final will have a battle of traditional giants, St. Mary's Chitende against Chibuli Aces that ejected Mukono Kings and Mvara Aces respectively.
Yeah, the challenges were there because Kawempe is a good team, a technically gifted team, but we had to study them, lay a strategy on how to beat them, and we were patient with our plan until the right moment came and we scored the needed goal and took the day.
On our plan coming here, when we came to Arua, one of our first mission was to qualify for East Africa. That was reaching the semi-finals. So I think we are so happy and pleased that we have qualified. We have made one of our first steps, and the second is winning the trophy. So as we have qualified, what we're looking forward to is winning the trophy this time.
So far we didn't do what we have to do, and we didn't perform well. And maybe next year, still here in this competition, we shall do better than this in order to qualify for another level.
Yes, we thank you so much for watching. That is all we had for you tonight. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakoni and the whole team. Wish you the best of the night. Do not miss Behind the Headlines at exactly 10, of course, on UBC TV. Bye-bye.